I'm going to quote your words. Taken together, these two cases demonstrate that the Supreme Court has embraced the use of the Constitution as a tool of racial patriarchy, end quote. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went on to say, quote, when the Supreme Court declares that there is a constitutional right to armed self-defense in public, it openly embraces and promotes a culture that privileges white men's ability to terrorize and kill those that they perceive as threats, close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I believe so. Thank you for reading.
Okay. And did you also say in that article, I'm going to quote again, quote, by simultaneously expanding white men's right to kill and constricting women's right not to die, this Supreme Court, referring to the current United States Supreme Court, has turned the Constitution into a homicide pact as well, close quote. Did you write that?
That sounds like me.
Okay. In November of 2024, you tweet, don't you?
The Senate hearing room grows quiet as Senator John Kennedy prepares to speak. The atmosphere carries that unmistakable tension that often fills Washington when powerful words collide with public accountability. Witnesses sit at the long table, microphones glowing red, cameras rolling, and every eye fixed on the moment that is about to unfold. Senator Kennedy begins calmly, thanking the chairman and acknowledging that he unfortunately missed portions of earlier testimony. But he makes one thing clear from the start. He has been listening closely. What follows is not shouting, not theatrics, but a precise line of questioning that slowly begins to turn the spotlight back onto one of the hearing's most outspoken witnesses. Professor Franks, a legal scholar who had earlier dismissed claims that government censorship occurred under the Biden administration, now finds herself facing Kennedy's methodical questioning. The senator does not interrupt wildly or rush his points. Instead, he does something far more powerful. He begins using the professor's own words, and within moments, the tone of the hearing shifts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize for having to miss the testimony of some of you, and I appreciate you coming today. Professor Franks, let me ask you, I listened to your and Ms. Hemingway's testimony and Professor Turley, so I got part of it. As I understand it, your position, Professor Franks, is that, I think you used the word myth. It is a myth that the Biden administration used government to compel speech, private speech, but that the Trump administration is doing that. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Do you think perhaps you're allowing your personal political beliefs to affect your objectivity here?
No, I do not. What is guiding my answers here is that I'm looking to see what the Supreme Court has said. You notice that in the testimony about the censorship industrial complex.
I got that part.
No, I just
got
want
that
to
part.
clarify.
No, but I've only got 5 minutes. Your answer is no, as I appreciate it. Let me ask you a couple questions. You wrote a law review article in December of 2023 for the New York University Law Review, and it was about the two cases, Bruen, Supreme Court case, and Dobbs. Remember that article?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In this article, you said, I'm going to quote your words, taken together, these two cases demonstrate that the Supreme Court has embraced the use of the Constitution as a tool of racial patriarchy, end quote. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went on to say, quote, when the Supreme Court declares that there is a constitutional right to armed self-defense in public, it openly embraces and promotes a culture that privileges white men's ability to terrorize and kill those that they perceive as threats, close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I believe so. Thank you for reading.
Okay. And did you also say in that article, I'm going to quote again, quote, by simultaneously expanding white men's right to kill and constricting women's right not to die, this Supreme Court, referring to the current United States Supreme Court, has turned the Constitution into a homicide pact as well, close quote. Did you write that?
That sounds like me.
Okay. In November of 2024, you tweet, don't you?
I'm not sure what the current terminology is for it, but yes, I am sometimes on the social platform that was formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, you're on a lot, aren't you?
I'm not sure what the relevance of that is.
You're trying to be provocative on there, don't you?
Again, I'm not sure what the relevance
Well,
of this question is.
let me show you the relevance. On November 7th, 2024, from your tweet, here's one of your tweets at 2:41 p.m. Quote, the majority of Americans hate women. The majority of Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy, close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I am not sure what this has to do with the subject matter of this
Did you
hearing.
say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but
Yeah,
what is
you
the
said it.
relevance of
Here
that
it
to
is,
this
big as
hearing?
Dallas, right there.
Yes.
But your political beliefs don't impact your feelings about President Biden or President Trump.
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have
Sounds
is
to me
doctrine.
like you have your favorite feeling is anger. Let me ask you this. You issued another tweet. This was in May of 2022. You've just been tweeting up a storm. You said, quote, there's a reason why the conservative-dominated Supreme Court thinks the Constitution does not contain a right to an abortion, but is convinced that it contains an individual right to possess firearms. And that reason is white male supremacy, close quote. Did I read that correctly?
Is there a question in this?
Did I read that correctly? That's
Is there
my
a question that is relevant to this hearing?
Did I read that correctly? Do you really think that the United States Supreme Court, you're an officer of the court, is guided by white male supremacy?
I believe that the First Amendment prohibits the president
Did you
and other
say
state
that?
officials for punishing people for
Did
their
you honestly say that, Professor?
I
And you
believe
expect us,
that the First
as a
Amendment,
Democratic witness, to take you seriously? Are you kidding me?
I believe that you should take
You
the First
heard of
Amendment
curb your
seriously, sir.
enthusiasm? Here's my saying, curb my nausea.
I
Thank you.
believe that you should
The
take
time
the First
has
Amendment
expired. Thank
seriously.
you. Senator Durbin.
In the end, Senator Kennedy demonstrated why careful questioning still matters in a congressional hearing. Instead of raising his voice or turning the moment into a spectacle, he calmly relied on the professor's own published words and public statements. By doing that, he reminded everyone in the room that credibility is built on consistency, especially for someone appearing as an expert witness before the Senate. Kennedy's questions were not complicated, they were direct and grounded in the record. Each confirmation from the witness strengthened the point that public statements cannot simply be brushed aside when they contradict sworn testimony. For many viewers, that exchange showed the value of accountability in a democratic system. Senators have a responsibility to challenge testimony and ensure that the information guiding policy debates is fair and balanced. Kennedy approached the moment with sharp focus, allowing facts and quotations to do most of the work. The result was a powerful reminder that public officials and expert witnesses alike must stand behind their words. In a hearing filled with competing opinions, Kennedy's methodical approach cut through the noise and brought the conversation back to the evidence. It also demonstrated that strong oversight does not always require confrontation. Sometimes it simply requires persistence and preparation. By the time his time expired, the senator had made his point clearly. Transparency and honesty should always remain at the center of public debate.